It took me 30 years before I could create this sound, like the stones in a Zen garden. Anyone who says my lute playing is wrong knows too little about Hello, I'm Naochika Sogabe. Thank you for watching my video. As far as I can see, most viewers are hearing my instruments, lute and oud, for the first time. And it's possible that you have some questions about my instruments or music. For most questions, I've already made some videos. Today I'll talk about the questions and also criticisms to which I've only individually replied in the comments so far. Here are the topics. You will find the answers in these videos. Beautiful sound, where can I buy an instrument like this? I would also like to be able to improvise like this. Your ambient music is too monotonous. Your playing technique is not historical. Can I use your music in my project or business? For 32 Hz calms you down better than for 40 Hz? First, I would like to introduce some of my videos. The first video is my welcome video. Here I talk about the concept of my music. I also talk a bit about resilience and music. My music can have a positive effect if you have ground under your feet. But if you live too much behind the facade, you might find it rather unpleasant. I explain why. I have two videos about my instruments. One is about my own instruments, the other is about the connection between the two instruments, oud and lute, and also what role the Japanese lute biwa plays. And in this video I talk about intonation. In the meditation music scene, there is a lot of talk about concert pitch, such as for 32 Hz, for example. But about the intervals, which means the distance between the notes, almost none at all. Music doesn't just consist of one frequency, but a combination of many different notes. This means that how you combine the notes has much greater influence on our listening experience than the concert pitch. Here I talk about the unfair distribution of revenue in the major music streaming services. YouTube is the only platform that pays fair amount to creators. This video is about the situation of professional musicians. Many people don't accept that we practice music as a profession. As is often said, you can't buy bread with applause. Many listeners comment that my instruments sound beautiful. As long as it's about my playing technique for sound, I'm grateful for that. But when it's just about the instrument, it's no longer really pleasing. Some people even ask, where can I buy that kind of instrument? I would like to play such a beautiful sound. Maybe it looks easy the way I play, but it took me 30 years before I could create this sound. The instrument only has the potential to produce such sounds. It's us instrumentalists who produce these sounds. Even if you have a super instrument, you can only get a few % out of its ability if you don't have the technique. So we have to work on the playing technique. I know many of you don't like to hear it, but it's the only way if you want to play beautiful sounds. Perhaps we can compare my music with the stone gardens of Zen temple. The stones of famous Zen gardens look as if they were placed by chance. But they were placed in these positions after careful consideration and planning. Nothing is left to coincidence. This is the only way to create their special beauty. In my ambient music, I compose not only the motif and the structure, but also the timing between the notes, the timbre of each note, and important ornaments. In my music, there are often passages without a fixed beat. These passages might look as if I were simply playing by feel. In reality, I consciously place each note where it should be, like the stones in a Zen garden. This is the only way I can reach the heart of the listener with my music. The proportions of improvisation is about 30%, I estimate. From time to time I hear we just have to let loose and improvise. Then the true expression comes out of the heart, something like that. That's just wishful thinking for comfort. If you just let loose, the result is usually a certain melody repeated without meaning or chaos. Improvisation brings you out your competence, personality, and life experience. This means we have to learn a lot and practice a lot to be able to improvise well. I only need a few days to produce each track, but it took me my whole life to acquire this competence and ability. Do you need ambient music with lots of variety and dramatic changes? No. I could finish this topic with that, but I will explain a bit more. Ambient music has its origin in minimal music. Repetition of the motif with constant changes is an essential component of this style. In my ambient music, I have several motifs and they are varied and repeated in an organic structure. More variation or changes of key or chord progression would destroy this continuous atmosphere. In my earlier works, you can listen many multi-track recordings over 30 channels with very strong musical tones or key changes. I use different compositional techniques as needed. My lute is particularly historically constructed. My Baroque lute is a copy of a lute that is in the Museum of Musical Instruments in Brussels. I ordered the lute maker to copy even the parts that are incomprehensible from today's perspective. The distances between the strings at the bridge are normally determined by the player. But I ordered him to make the string spacing as same as the original. You can hear the result in my videos. So we could say that my Baroque lute is quite historically authentic. And now the posture. I hold the instrument like Charles Moton, a lute master at the end of the 17th century. It's a historical playing posture and it's quite comfortable for me. My upper body is completely unstressed. With this posture, I can play for many hours without any complaints. There is also this picture by Rubens. Many lute players hold their Baroque lute like this, with a strap. It also looks comfortable, but it didn't suit me. The weight of the instrument is transferred to the shoulder by the strap. Because the lute is not flat like an electric guitar, the shoulders and upper body are pulled forward. So I had a stiff neck and shoulders. In any case, that's how it was for me. But if it suits the player, they can hold it like that. I hold my electric guitar and bass guitar with the strap. But the weight goes down vertically. As long as you keep your body straight, you will not have a neck or shoulder problem. Now about the playing technique. Back when I was studying at the Royal Conservatory of The Hague, we students had free access to the music archive of The Hague. This archive has one of the largest collections of literature and sheet music for lute and baroque music. I don't mean copies or facsimiles, but originals from that period. I was able to pick up and read the original scores or literature from the Renaissance or Baroque periods. It was a little journey back in time. It was really cool and I spent a lot of time in this archive. But I hardly saw any other students there. Research work in the music archive was strongly encouraged by the conservatory, but almost no student took advantage of this privilege. I learned a lot from this literature. I didn't find anyone I really wanted to study with, but those books are my masters during that time. What I also learned from this literature is that each lute player played differently. Let's look at the present. There are super guitarists like Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, David Gilmour, Jeff Beck, etc. As you know, each of these guitarists plays in their own way. This individuality makes these guitarists unique. And this diversity makes the electric guitar world rich. It was the same for lute players in France in the 17th century. Every lute player wanted to be more unique than the others. How boring it would have been if everyone played the same way. Anyone who says my lute playing is wrong knows too little about the history of the lute and the music. Yes, you can use my music in your project. To use my music, please declare it to the performance rights organization called PRO in your country. For example, ASCAP for the USA, JASRAC for Japan, or GEMA for Germany. In a piece of music, we listen not only one pitch, but also so many different frequencies as melodies and chords. There are also so many overtones sounding at the same time. So it makes no sense to discuss whether a concert pitch has any meaning or not. If the frequency of 432 Hz really has healing power, the pure 432 Hz without any overtones must be most effective. For example, a sine wave has no overtones. Let's listen to the frequency of 432 Hz as a sine wave, but only for 10 seconds. Are you still there? It was really awful, wasn't it? The conspiracy theorists will still find some excuse for it, but enough is enough. It's nonsense to talk about just one frequency. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. じゃあね。